Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I want to talk about Daryl Dixon Season 2 because we got a new teaser, and this one is with Carol, and so yeah, I want to break down this teaser. It's a really incredible one, so before going any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. We're about, I think, like 36 or 37. Actually, I think we're 36 days away, yeah, because tomorrow is going to be 5 weeks until the premiere, which, again, is flying by. Like, I do expect there to be a new trailer coming out at some point next week, because usually they do release a trailer, like a brand new trailer of some sorts anyways, like a month beforehand. So I think there's going to be something of new footage dropped probably August 29th. At least that's what I'm expecting anyways. Maybe if they don't drop anything then, there'll be something else that'll come out like early September or something like that. Because the second that it's like September 1st or even like September 2nd, because like that's the Monday, there's going to be a lot of promotion for the show. And obviously they're going to really build up to it at that point, right? Because we're just like a couple of weeks away at that point. So yeah, I can't wait. I really cannot wait for the show to premiere. I'm so excited for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2. I'm excited to see Carol back and seeing her try to find Daryl, which obviously we know that that's going to happen at some point here. I mean, it is kind of funny that, in the marketing, they can't really talk about it, but I also think that it is smart as well. Like, you don't want to be just talking about it like, oh yeah, Carol and Daryl going to reunite, this and that. Like, obviously we all know what's going to happen. Like, Norman Reedus is even like, so what? We're just going to have Carol on the show trying to find me in France, but like she doesn't find me at all. And it's like, oh, I just missed him. Like, he was just like right here, and oh wait, Carol was right there, like for the rest of the series, right? Like, there's no way like that would ever happen. But I still think that it is smart to keep it a mystery right now. I think spoiling a lot of it, even though we know what's going to happen, it just, again, it's one of those things that when you look back at like The Walking Dead and I guess around season 10, 11, whenever they confirmed the spin-offs and whatnot, I think a lot of people at that point were really upset that these characters were going to continue their stories past like the final season, or not that they were upset that they were continuing their story, just that we knew that none of these characters were going to die or whatever in the final season. And I mean, I guess I get that argument, but I think at that point we all knew it was going to happen anyways, because Rick and Michonne's story was needed to be told. And I think that's why, I think it was pretty obvious, but I think they did learn their lesson from that, because announcing that, even Jeffrey Dean Morgan was like upset about that and whatnot. So like, I think that they were like, you know what, we're just going to keep everything a mystery. And I think it's smart. Just keep doing that. I think that it's one of those things that, it builds up a lot of excitement for the season here. And so I do want to talk about this teaser here with Carol, and it's a very short teaser, and we actually see Carol here walking through like this garden area or whatever, and she sees some walkers actually walking into this area, and so she sort of like, I guess, panics for a second, but then finds a weapon, and then obviously the scene cuts here. I don't know where this area is, but my guess is it's in France, because I don't think, I mean, it's possible that Ash has an area like this, but just based off of Carol's outfit, I think that this is probably in France. Maybe it's from episode 1, though I don't think it would be from episode 1. I feel like it's probably going to be an episode 2 thing, like very early on, like if they are in France anyways, because I know Carol and Ash are going to end up at France at some point, and I think that will be for sure an episode 1 thing. They're not going to hold off on that until episode 2, because again, there's only 6 episodes, and so you do want to get Carol to France as fast as you can, and that's why I feel like Carol and Daryl are going to reunite in episode 2. This way you can have Carol and Daryl together, for most of the season and whatnot, and then obviously they'll just sort of be together for season 3, 4, and whatnot. So, but really incredible scene. Honestly, the one thing that I noticed was the visuals look absolutely incredible. Like the walkers and just like everything, the cameras just look absolutely, like, I can't even believe The Walking Dead looks this good. Honestly, it's incredible. And I know a lot of people complained about that when they first switched to using digital cameras and whatnot, like they missed the film grain look and all that. And, there is a part of me that's like, I do miss that, but it is more nostalgic, I would say, if anything. And I think if they were still using that even right now, that people would be like, okay, like, you do gotta change it up here a little bit, right? Because it would just be doing the same thing forever. So I think it was smart that they changed it, because it looks absolutely fantastic, and you just always got to evolve, right? And I think now you look back at the very first seasons of The Walking Dead, and you're like, that film grain look or whatever, like that looked really cool for the time, and it's more nostalgic now to look back at it. So that's sort of how I view that. I saw some comments here actually of people saying that this kind of looks like Okafor's garden, I guess, and I was like, I laughed because I was like, oh, that'd be hilarious, but obviously it's not, because Carol all of a sudden walking through the CRM base would be like, wait, what's going on here in the story? Which I am very curious about, just sort of in general, like, you know, just on Major General Beale's spies, because are we going to see them at some point? Like, that was intentionally put there, I believe, in the finale, when Beale was like, you know, we have spies all over the world, and then they report back to us, this and that, or whatever. And to me, that was dialogue that was put there because now if they ever want to make a connection to the CRM, if there's going to be a spy anywhere, I mean, they literally, like, they can have that story there now, right? Like, that's set up for anything. Like that can happen in Dead City, it can happen in Daryl Dixon, it can happen in a future spinoff. Like, that's always going to be a thing now, right? Like, you're always going to wonder, is this new character a Beale spy, or was this person an old spy from Major General Beale and the CRM? And so, you know, I feel like at this point, yes, you could do something like that. In terms of how it would serve the story, I think it would mostly serve the story in terms of like some of the research stuff and a lot of that, and it would be some cool backstory, learning some information and whatnot. And again, the CRM could still be, you know, a threat out there in a sense, like in terms of, well, it wouldn't be a threat, but it would be a big part of the story still, right? Like, I guess for Madame Genet, it could be a threat because the CRM obviously are, like, they're good now, and so they would side against Madame Genet, I'm guessing, right, and Pouvoir. So I think that, yeah, like, having those connections there would be a lot of fun. I think even if there was a character that was like, you know, he was a part of the CRM and he was a former spy, but now he's like, he doesn't want to, you know, do that anymore. Like, I feel like that would be a really cool idea for original spinoff as well. Maybe when they go to Spain, you know, they have Major General Beale's spies there. I just wonder how people would react to it overall, because I feel like a lot of fans right now aren't the happiest with The Ones Who Live or the CRM or anything like that. Like, it's very, very interesting. And I've talked about this with a lot of people. Like, I really feel like The Ones Who Live, when it first came out, like the very last episode, I mean, you know, I didn't really like the episode and I was very mixed on it. I liked all these moments. There's certain moments that are very emotional, and then that very last scene definitely got me. But like, I was also like, it felt rushed, and I was just like, you know, the more and more you think about it, you're like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, this shouldn't have happened. This shouldn't have happened. Or what about this? And you know, you start to kind of get a little upset about everything. And then I got a lot of hate for that. Like, honestly, that was just absolutely insane, just what was happening around that time. But as time has went on, a lot of people are like, you know what? I'm actually not a fan of that. And it's very interesting because just in this last month, and I think it really started, like, not necessarily right after the Daryl Dixon season 2 trailer came out, but it was like 2 weeks later, a week or two later, that a lot of people just started to be like, you know what, I actually really like The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, and they don't even want any connection to The Ones Who Live anymore. Like, they're not even really a fan of the CRM arc in general. Like, people just want to, like, forget about it. And that's not saying anything bad about Rick and Michonne and whatnot, but it seems like a lot of people are just like, you know what, I really was not a fan of the whole epic love story, and I want Rick and Michonne back, and I want to see them in, like, a survival story sort of thing. And Andrew Lincoln talked about that. You know, like, the next Rick story he wants is to be on, you know, simplistic survival horror. Or at least he wants that to be the focus for the story. And so I think a lot of people feel that. And that was, you know, when he said that, there was such a big response to that. So that's why I feel like, you know, in terms of making connections to the CRM, like, you can, but I also just feel like, I don't know, like, you would have to make them more interesting, and you would have to sort of change a lot of what happened in the finale. Then, you know, it's possible that fans would actually like that. But as of right now, making any sort of connections, I feel like it's just not the smartest thing to do right now, because people seem to really want the Varian Walker stuff. They really like the Daryl Dixon story right now. And also Dead City, you know, I feel like, you know, some weren't fans of the very first season, but it looks like they really did take that criticism well. And season 2 looks incredible right now. And you know, Negan has Lucille, and there's more episodes. And I just think that story is going to get a lot bigger, because that's exactly what they said. You know, the story gets absolutely crazy here in the second season. So I'm really excited for that. And I think that, yeah, again, I mean, the first seasons of all these shows here, you know, they just had to sort of learn what fans wanted and sort of where to go with the story overall. And so I expect even in that show, there's going to be cameos and all of that, right? And so, yeah, I don't think we'll see Beale's spies at all really in The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 2, or like maybe in season 3. I think that could happen, but I think as of right now, they're just going to have to wait on that, because I think doing a story right now would, I don't know if it would upset a lot of people. I think some people might be cool with it, but it's really hard to say. Like, it really is. Like, honestly, like who knows? Like, maybe they show an ex-CRM soldier there, or like, you know, whatever, and everyone's so excited, right? Like, that's the thing too. Like, future storylines, we're going to see a lot of that. Like, a lot of stories of people who were ex-CRM soldiers and some of their experiences with that. And I think that's actually really cool. And I do hope we get stories like that in the future. But Yeah, I'll leave it here. I also did want to mention really quick that season 3 of Daryl Dixon looks absolutely incredible. They actually start filming in 2 more days, I believe, but I think tomorrow they're filming something in Madrid, and it's only going to be like 1 day of filming or something like that I've been seeing. So I can't show anything obviously from the set, and I wouldn't do that because obviously I don't want to spoil anything. But when you see a lot of the set photos and all that, because you really can't escape it online, like you're just going to constantly see that on your timeline, it just looks absolutely incredible, and if not better than anything they've done so far in seasons 1 and 2. And it's crazy to say that, but I'm just really excited for the story here, and I think that they know that every single season, like whenever they get a new season to do, they need to make it better than the last season. So I really trust David Zabel, who is the showrunner of Daryl Dixon. I really trust him and all the writers and what they're doing with everything, because they're doing a really phenomenal job. So yeah, but I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.